Kevin. I know that this came out during the preliminary hearing that investigators, and you would hope they would cross-check everything. So not only have they gone through the sheriff's phone records, the judge's phone records, but they're also going through the daughter's phone records, as we found out. Tommy, I'd like to play this clip for you. Again, this is that same investigator from the preliminary hearing.
You intend to obtain records for her cell phone number?
Possibly, yes.
Do you believe that that will be soon that you'll do that?
Could be, yes.
Had you already intended to do that, or did you just respond to my question?
Well, the call should be on the judge's records too.
Well, I understand.
And she's made statements about what occurred during those conversations.
Okay, so that gives us a little bit more that perhaps there was communication going on between the judge and the daughter. Was it inappropriate? Maybe, maybe not. Tommy, what did you think when you heard that clip there?
I think our first mind is to go exactly where you went, and it must be nefarious. But, you know, the officer was so flat in his delivery, it could have been she told us that she was working on an intern project and needed more information about judges. I was thinking what Kevin was saying, you know, our judge is here. You know, Kevin probably has my daughter's phone number and I have hers, you know, to help them with school or whatever the case may be. So, again, back to Kevin not wanting to speculate, Julie, it could be, you know, an innocent answer. It is clear to me that law enforcement knows and that we're going to have to hear it in court.
Right, Tommy. You know, and
one of the things you guys are asking questions in the chat prior to this exchange, prior to Sheriff Stein's shooting Judge Mullins, they were at a luncheon, and apparently they were seen speaking to each other. They didn't know. Witnesses described it as, they couldn't say it was heated, but it was serious. And they overheard the judge say, "Do we need to speak in private? Do we need to go into my chambers?" And Sheriff Stein said yes. So they had, on that day of the shooting, they had been to a luncheon. So at some point, or prior to that point, of course, Sheriff Steins heard something from, or was living through something that had to do with his wife and his daughter. Now, all we're hearing, and you heard them say on this channel, that we may have to wait till this case goes to court to find out the actual truth about the relationship between Judge Kevin Mullins and Sheriff Stein's daughter, 17-year-old daughter. Or could it totally be that we'll get totally surprised that perhaps was Sheriff Stein's having an abusive relationship with his wife and his daughter, and did they seek out the judge's counsel, the judge's help? We don't know. We don't know, because as they just said, that law enforcement knows, but they're not letting it out there. And we keep hearing about, when we hear about a defense, and we hear, of course, the defense, the best they could possibly do in a case like this is get a murder first-degree charge reduced to a manslaughter first-degree charge under the statute, under the subdivision of extreme emotional disturbance, which we used to know as temporary insanity. Does someone lose their mind to the extent that they kill somebody? But you could see in the video that we watched of Sheriff Stein shooting the judge, he seems very cold and very cool. In fact, he methodically goes around that desk and shoots him again and again and again. He doesn't shoot him once. So he obviously wanted to make sure that Judge Kevin Mullins was dead. Now, is that extreme emotional disturbance? Is it? Or is that thinking? He's thinking as he's shooting. He's thinking about what he's doing. So did he lose his mind? He seems awfully cool to me during that shooting. It doesn't seem like he lost his mind at all. It seems like he took out that gun and he decided what he was going to do with it. So when we talk about, was it extreme emotional disturbance? When you watch the video, which of course is going to be played 1 million times in a court of law, does that say to a juror that this was a man with extreme emotional disturbance? Or does that say to a juror, no, this man thought about what he was doing?